Last time we talked about Cronus castrating his father Uranus and taking over as king of the cosmos. But now it's time to take things one step further. So let's crack on with Greek mythology. Part 2. Rise of the Olympians. Episode 4. The Titanomachy, War of the Gods. So as we finish off this episode, I'm going to cover the start of the war between the Olympians and the Titans. What caused it, and then how Zeus and his siblings went about taking over from his dad Cronus. But before I dive in, thank you all so much for being awesome. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite god or monster is, and if there are any new myths that you want to hear. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel so much. And as always, thank you all for watching. Alright, let's get back to the story. Now, if you recall last time, Cronus swallowed his children as they were born because he was afraid that just like his father, he would be overthrown by one of them. However, after Rhea, his wife, gave birth to their youngest son, Zeus, she was furious at her husband for swallowing their first 5 children and decided that he wasn't going to do it again. As soon as Cronus heard these words, he began to panic because now he knew that the prophecy against him was absolutely true. He had avoided his fate for quite some time, but now that prophecy was inevitable. To try and make himself safe, Cronus called upon his Titan allies to fight for him. However, Zeus had already taken action. He had traveled to Gaia, the personification of the earth, and asked her for help. She was happy to assist him, because she was also tired of Cronus's tyranny. So Gaia helped Zeus escape and hide away on the Greek island of Crete. There, Zeus grew up in secret until he was big enough to rally the other gods to his cause. However, while hiding on Crete, there was another problem. You see, Zeus's father, Cronus, kept sending monsters to find and kill him. One such monster was the hellhound Typhon, who was sent specifically to find Zeus and devour him. Fortunately, though, Gaia created a massive earthquake to distract the dog, and it ran off to find the source of the tremors. Then Zeus took advantage of the situation and attacked Typhon with lightning bolts, killing him. From there, Zeus took his hide and made armor out of it. This would later become known as the Thunderbolts of Zeus, which he would use throughout his life to defeat enemies. But now it was time for Zeus to rally the other gods to his side and begin the attack against his father and the Titans. You see, when Cronus swallowed each of his children, they were immediately trapped inside his stomach. However, Metis, the Titaness of wisdom, stayed behind in Rhea's belly and waited for the perfect moment to strike. That moment came when Zeus told her to give him a special drink. And once he had it, it immediately made him throw up each of his swallowed siblings. Each god and goddess was given an aspect of authority over the universe, and together they led the rebellion known as the Titanomachy, or War of the Gods. The war lasted for 10 years, and during that time, Zeus and his siblings displayed extraordinary strength and power. Poseidon created earthquakes. Hades created pestilence and famine. and Hera used her influence to turn the other gods against the Titans. But Cronus was not easily defeated. His own powers should not be understated. He could manipulate time and even alter the future itself. In fact, he had done this several times in the past, like when he tricked his father into giving up his power, or when he saved himself from being killed by his son, Zeus. But this time the gods were ready for him. They fought with unrelenting fury and gradually began to gain the upper hand. The Titans tried their best to hold on, but the truth was they simply couldn't compete with the power of the gods. One by one, the Titans fell until only Cronus remained. Zeus struck him down and flung him into the depths of Tartarus, the darkest part of the underworld where he would remain forever. With that, Zeus became the new king of the cosmos, and he and his siblings divided the universe among themselves. Zeus got the sky, Poseidon got the seas, and Hades got the underworld. And that's it. The Olympians won. And it was a clean sweep. Except it wasn't really, because this is where our first major problem comes in. You see, in order to avoid YouTube policy, I can't talk about how Zeus chained up his father, Cronus, and forced him to vomit up the 5 gods and goddesses he had swallowed. But hey, I think you know what happened. Zeus chained up his dad, forced him to puke, and then everything was good in the world. Oh wait, no, it actually wasn't. See, even though Zeus defeated his father, Cronus had passed on his powers to him. This meant that the Olympians didn't need to worry about their father anymore, because he was still powerful. But he was too afraid to do anything. And this wasn't good for Zeus. He needed to prove that he was worthy of being king. So he started looking for someone else to battle. But this is where our second problem comes in. You see, to avoid your policy, Ico undescribed the battles that Zeus participated in before claiming his place as king of the gods. But I think you can probably guess what happened. Zeus went around fighting anyone he could find. He battled the giants, fought with the 100-handed Hecatonchires, and battled the 5-headed dragon camp. These battles earned him the respect of all, the gods and goddesses, and proved that he was truly worthy of being king. However, as you may have noticed, there's a huge plot hole here. Zeus defeated Cronus, yet he still possessed his power. If Zeus was so powerful, why did he need to fight all those monsters? Well, this brings us to our third problem, which is the Iku. Unexplained why Zeus did want to take his father's power after defeating him. But I think you can guess what happened. After Zeus defeated his father, he realized that Cronus still had a lot of power left. So instead of killing him right then and there, Zeus imprisoned him, and when he did, he saw all the potential power that his father wielded. But rather than take that power for himself, he chose to keep it in check. This way, Cronus couldn't harm the gods or goddesses, but he also couldn't help them either. And that's why Zeus decided to use his father's power as a bargaining chip. He offered the Titans a chance to be free if they helped him in battle. Once the Titans agreed, Zeus allowed them back into the world. At first, It seemed like a good idea, but later he regretted it because some of the Titans still held a grudge against him. But unfortunately, that's all I can talk about in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought and what you want to see in the next episode. Also, please make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thank you all for watching.